Welcome back to AM Northwest. It's a podcast that traces the personal and professional journeys of icons in the entertainment industry. Here to share what we can expect from season 2, we welcome back the host of My Hollywood Story, entertainment reporter Stacey Wilson Hunt. Good to see you again, Stacey.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
You bet. So you've got a new venue now too in season 2, right?
I do. When I last saw you in June, I had been recording out of a venue in Hollywood called Neue House, which is a private club and workspace, which is sadly no more. It closed its doors in September, but I was lucky enough to pivot my production to Soho House, which of course is kind of like the original brand in this space, and it's right down the road. So I'm now recording out of Soho House, West Hollywood, and also just so you know, there is now a Soho House in Portland on the east side.
Oh,
so
wow.
that opened last year. So yeah, so people can now become members, and they have 46 locations around the world. It's a stunning, stunning space.
Is it a clubhouse? Is that how it works?
Yes, it's sort of a private club. So imagine a country club with no golf course. It's probably the best way to describe it. Private dining, a pool on the roof. This is in Portland. We actually don't have a pool here, funny enough.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a place where members can gather and eat, and it's just a really gorgeous brand. So I'm very honored to be affiliated with it. Yeah.
Love it. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into a few of the people you've talked to. You do great interviews, by the way. Let's go with our first, of course, Gus Van Sant. Producer, of course, icon, a Portland icon.
And yes, so I have Gus coming up on the 8th.
Okay.
And and no offense to my actor Gus, but Gus is a hero of mine. When you grow up in Portland, as I did, and you know that he's filming My Own Private Idaho and Drugstore Cowboy right downtown, there is a real energy, and it's just such an incredible feeling to know that art is being made in Portland. And I've spoken to Gus many times. He's so lovely. And funny enough, he lives right down the road from me in Los Feliz neighborhood of LA. So I cannot wait to speak to him. And he has a new movie coming out called Dead Man's Wire. It's great. It opens wide in early January. So I can't wait to speak to him.
Let's talk about actor Charlie Sheen. Wow. Having recently watched the documentary, it's like this must have been really fascinating for you.
Yeah, you know, I met Charlie about 10 years ago. I did a reunion photo shoot for an Oscar issue of The Hollywood Reporter with him and Oliver Stone and Willem Dafoe. And this was right around the time of his 2.5 Men situation and his kind of ensuing fallout from that. And I found him to be very kind and professional. And he was absolutely that last week. He was so warm, very funny. He seemed kind of tired. You know, I think he's been through a lot physically. But he's just a very kind, warm person, and we had an incredible conversation. I cannot wait to share it with everyone. And I'm premiering that one on Christmas Eve.
Is there one little tip you can give us, one little nugget that you can share with us?
I would say, you know, I close a lot of my interviews by asking my guests, what do they hope people take away from their Hollywood stories? And Charlie had an interesting response. He said, you know, I don't think anyone will ever have a story like mine again. And I think he's right. I think the world in which he came up, having Martin Sheen as a dad, what he's struggled with and his substance abuse challenges, I think his story of survival is quite stunning. And most people in his situation are simply not with us anymore.
Yeah.
So I find his resilience to be quite impressive. And despite all the mistakes he made, I'm all about second chances. So I think he's very emblematic of that.
Yeah, the fact that he survived all of that is really incredible.
Quite staggering. And he's been sober for 8 years, so I congratulate him on that huge milestone. It's really quite impressive.
Marlee Matlin, an incredible actress.
Yes. So I met Marlee a few years ago for the first time. Obviously, she was the youngest Oscar winner for Best Actress for Children of a Lesser God in 1987. And she has an incredible documentary out right now that another woman made, Shoshana Stern, who herself is deaf, as is Marlee. This is streaming now. I encourage everyone to watch it. It's called Marlee Matlin, Not Alone Anymore. And of course, that refers to the fact that for so long, she was the only deaf performer in Hollywood with any acclaim or note until Troy Kotsur, her co-star from Coda, of course, won Best Supporting Actor a couple years ago. And I find Marlee to be, she's a kind of a whippersnapper. I have to say, she's very
funny. A whippersnapper, look at you.
To use an antiquated term. But she's very stubborn and funny, and I think she has really helped to change the face of what disability looks like, what art looks like. And her translator, of course, Jack Jason, who she's worked with for 40 years, he of course assisted in the conversation. But that was a very, very, very special day. And I asked her about her tumultuous relationship with William Hurt.
Yeah.
Of course, William, I believe, lived in Portland for a stint before he passed away. He was very abusive. He was very jealous about her Oscar win for Children of a Lesser God. And we talked about that. Very tough stuff. And she is an open book and incredibly inspiring and very funny.
Yeah.
So I want people to look forward to that one.
That's-
And her episode premieres December 3rd.
Okay, and costume designer Ruth E. Carter, who I really admire. Her work is so incredible. Tell me about talking with her.
Yes, talk about a legend. So
Yeah.
Ruth is the only Black woman to win not only once but twice for costume design. And she, of course, started her career with Spike Lee for his second film, Do the Right Thing, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I could have spoken to her for 10 hours, honestly. Prepping for this one was absolutely stunning. And then, of course, she won her Oscars for working with Ryan Coogler on the Black Panther movies. We talked about Chadwick Boseman and that terrible loss when he passed away in 2020. And she shared some wonderful stories. She also told a very funny story about doing costume design for What's Love Got to Do with It? And when Tina Turner visited the set one day and told Ruth, I would never wear that dress. So she had to pivot on a few occasions to change some of the wardrobe.
That's funny.
So I think, and one of my favorite tidbits that Ruth shared is the glasses that Denzel Washington wears in Malcolm X. There's a scene in which Malcolm is in prison. He has a denim shirt on and thin rim glasses. Ended up being the glasses that George Costanza wears in the pilot of Seinfeld and then throughout the rest of Seinfeld.
No way.
Yes. They had, of course, Jason Alexander's prescription ultimately.
Yeah.
But she had those in her toolbox, brought them to set, and told Jason Alexander, I think these would look good on George. And Jerry and Larry David, of course, agreed. And thus, the glasses were born for George.
Oh, that is so. Patricia Clarkson is a woman I really admire, an actor who's just so talented. What's it like to talk with her?
I had been a fan of Patty's, as she is known for until 98. I sort of knew her in bit parts, but in the movie High Art, she really broke out for me as a true character actor. Lisa Cholodenko's, of course, indie breakthrough film. And Patricia is just as warm and wonderful as you would imagine. And she shared some pretty compelling stories about dealing with Harvey Weinstein. I won't spoil that, but he bullied her intensely for an Oscar campaign issue. And she was very candid in sharing that. And her new movie is called Lily. It's quite wonderful. It's about Lily Ledbetter, the groundbreaking activist for gender and pay equity, who passed away sadly recently, but she plays her. It's a true story. She sued Goodyear Tire Company for lack of gender equity and pay, and was a true hero. And
yes,
Obama
I saw that. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, she has just a wonderful, warm presence, a true character actor in the best sense, and a New Yorker, and she's just hilarious and wonderful. So loved her.
We lost Ozzy Osbourne this year.
Yeah. Oh, we sure did.
Yes, and tell me about you spent some time with him.
I did. It's so great that you brought him up. I had the opportunity to do, there he is.
Yeah.
That was, I think, taken in 2014. I did an Emmy Icons portfolio shoot with people who had Emmy nominated or Emmy winning series, of course, the Osbournes, the great breakthrough reality show. Without the Osbournes, there'd be no Kardashians, frankly. And I found him to be so kind and so funny and soft-spoken, and he loved his family so much. And obviously I loved his music too, but I was really struck by his warmth and his devotion to Sharon, and he really just saw himself as a dad and a husband. So I know a lot of people are still mourning that loss.
Yeah.
He's a true icon.
Yeah, and you got to wonder how Sharon is doing.
I know. They had such a tumultuous run too in their marriage, and she was his manager and ran his business. I was so inspired by their devotion to each other. I think a lot of people in her situation would have said, this is too much, I'm moving on. But I really love how much they loved each other, and his illness really took a toll, I'm sure, on their lives. So I think we have to have empathy for people who are struggling physically in their later years.
So again, My Hollywood Story, the second season, and we can find it where?
So My Hollywood Story Season 2 premieres November 26th on Apple Podcasts and on our YouTube channel with director Scott Cooper, who recently made the Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere film. So I hope people check that out. And we have episodes running through at least the end of January. And before I forget, I actually want to wish my 3-year-old niece, Emmy Reese, who turns 3 today, and she is the light of our lives, of course, my sister Jamie, who used to be a television personality in Portland.
Yes.
And her dad, Tim. They're just the best parents, and Emmy is just such a sweet little angel, and she turns 3 today. So I just want to make sure I wish Emmy, happy birthday, and she lives in Tigard.
Okay, thank you so much, Stacey. We appreciate it. Stacey Wilson
Bye.
Hunt, thank you
You.
so much.